Yeah, I can see running back being a position that they're taking a look at. And I mean, I know there's some quality running backs there that they will like. I think they need to have more speed and even more playmaking ability at the linebacker level. Maybe even a corner could sneak up here. Look, they really are in a luxury situation where Brett Veach and Andy Reid can really sit there and go, hey, look, we can just take whoever we want here. Who really is the guy who's sticking out for us? That doesn't necessarily have to play right now, but we can develop. And I think there's a lot of guys who fit the bill here. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is a position like linebacker or corner, which is something I know they would like to continue to build depth at.
All right, so we'll see what happens. And again, this is the final pick of the first round, and we are waiting to see what Andy Reid and Brett Veach are going to come up with. But again, we've seen some of the safeties out there, and we knew that they're looking at potentially trying to get the back end of that defense shored up. I know you mentioned Chris Jones. They're going to put the franchise tag on him. That could get awkward, but I'm not sure if there's someone at this point in the draft that you'd feel comfortable, because Chris Jones was such a beast for them last year when he was healthy. A little nicked up in the postseason as well, but he was healthy enough to get things going. So the Kansas City Chiefs are close to closing out the first round. And ladies and gentlemen, the pick is in. Where will the champs go? Let's find out now.
You guys aren't super fans for nothing. Let's go. Come on. With the 32nd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs select Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back, LSU.
Sometimes you just have a hunch. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a fascinating running back for them this past season. How about this? Despite only 14 grabs his first 2 years for the Tigers, he had a school record 55 catches for 453 yards. And clearly Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a car guy, because he said, if you're a car guy, I'm like a Pirelli P0 tire fresh off the market. That's my thing. My lifespan is pretty long right now. Only 370 carries in his 3-year career. And his name is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, based on his birth father, Clyde Edwards, and his adopted stepfather, Shannon Helaire. Clyde Edwards is his biological father, but in 2000 he was arrested and sentenced to 30 years in prison when Clyde was 11 months old. Clyde's mother met Shannon Helaire and eventually became a stepfather to Clyde, and he kept both of their names to honor both of them for what they've meant. Boog, we talked about it. What a fit for the offense Andy Reid and company like to run.
Well, it's definitely a scheme fit. You think about Clyde Edwards-Helaire last year in the LSU offense. It's going to be a very similar offense with Patrick Mahomes. He can cut inside and outside as far as hiding behind those big offensive linemen. He's only 5'8", but if you look at his change of direction, the ability to get in and out of his cuts, and then the area where I think he's going to be big and pay huge dividends for the Kansas City Chiefs, catching the football out of the backfield, tough runner, but he's a 3-down player, and this is what you have to have in today's NFL. Not just a runner inside or outside, but you better have somebody that can catch the football. Now, he needs to work on his pass protection, which I'm sure Andy Reid and Brett Veach knows, but they got a really, really good football player in Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Lewis?
Yeah, Coach Reid has always had multi-dimensional running backs on his roster. He's always been someone who's been able to find guys who can run between the tackles, outside the tackle box, and really they can feature him in the screen game. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire, when you combine him with Damian Williams, you have a heck of a 1-2 punch, DJ, that's going to make them even more lethal on offense.
No doubt, Lewis. And to me, when I watched him, I compared him to Priest Holmes. I haven't seen so much of him in the AFC when I was scouting. And how about that? Chiefs fans, they know what they're getting with what they had with Priest Holmes. I think this is another version of what Priest was able to do on those Chiefs teams. He is going to be a high-volume pass catcher in this offense, Trey.
Yeah, listen, this you want to talk about, and Louis Riddick said this when they drafted Patrick Mahomes a couple of years ago. It was a perfect fit for what they want to do. When you saw what Clyde Edwards-Helaire did in that Joe Brady offense, who's now the offensive coordinator with Matt Rule in Carolina, you could just see him projected into what Kansas City wants